So hi everyone, welcome back to the session 4. So in session 3, we were seeing about what is the organization flowchart. Okay, I've also told about what is the procurement cycle, what is an organization flowchart. See, I'm more focused towards the basics teaching or basics understanding. Say for example, when you are not aware of what's happening in the SAP ECC side, and without that, if you are understanding just the basics of SAP GTS, you will not able to achieve anything. So that is why I'm giving you a basic understanding on SAP ECC, and in that more specifically I'm telling about SAP MM. So but if at all you wanted to explore more side by side, you need to explore on SAP SD as well, so that you will be on track. If you are not following up and if you are not doing that, then you will be facing lot of doubts, because I clearly understand without SAP background, working in SAP GTS will be a hard task unless you are so much dedicated. So to be very much dedicated, I would tell you that basics are very much needed. That is why I'm focusing on SAP MM. And also I'm not going to explain in depth of how the client will be defined, how the company code will be defined, how the plant will be defined. I'll not be able to do all those. If at all I'm going to do all those, then this sessions will be like more than hundreds or 200s, which you will get bored. And I'm not planning to make a session for more than 1 hour or so. I'm trying to restrict within 30 minutes. So that is why I give very short sessions to make you guys understand what is happening in SAP world. So you guys have to do a lot of homework. Take your time, see a video, see the session repeatedly, and try to Google it. Use Google for your own, and then try to get whatever the content you have. Make use of the time and try to share your work in Telegram. That will be better. So now we have understood what is the organization flowchart. Now there will be a question. I understood that you are teaching a basics of SAP, but where is it linked with GTS? Okay, so that is where we are going to discuss today. So there are two things over here. One, organization structure. Okay, organization structure in feeder system. Okay, so organization structure, we have a separate organization structure in feeder system, and similarly we have a organization structure in where GTS system. Correct? Because as I told you, GTS receives the data from the feeder system. When I say feeder system, you guys should be aware of what are the feeder systems. All these has been already taught. So if you are not following up with the session 1, session 2, session 3 and just blindly coming into session 4, you will not be able to understand anything at all. So feeder system can be any SAP feeder system or a non-SAP feeder system. Right now we are discussing on SAP ECC, SAP MM. So there I have told about the organization structure. So what are the organization structure there? I clearly told we have a client, we have a company code, correct? We have a plant, and then we have a storage location, and we have purchasing organization and purchasing group. Okay, correct? All these are there. Now similarly in GTS system also we have a client, we have FTO, foreign trade organization, we have legal unit. Only these are the organization structure in GTS system. If you go over here, you see a client here, right? 001, that is for GTS, and you have a client for ECC, that is 800. So all the clients, it need not be different, need not be same. It is all how you define. Actually I told in previous class, a client can have a 3-digit numeric key, a company code, plant, storage location will have 4-digit alphanumeric key. Similarly, that is what has to be followed. So feeder system, these are the details you would have already been defined, and client also you will define, that is also a 3-digit key. And FTO and legal unit, though it comes under organization structure in SAP GTS system, but defining is a separate concept. Okay, and you also need to understand where you will define the company code, plant and storage location, purchasing organization in SAP ECC system. So when you come into SAP ECC system, when you go into SPRO, I've already told you SPRO is the place where you will be able to do the configurations. If you wanted to do any system configurations, you have to come over here. So company code, what did I tell you? It is a place where bookkeeping happens. So it is a finance related activity. So the SAP finance functional module guys will be able to create a company code and assign the company code to respective companies. So defining a company and all those will take place at the finance and accounting place. Clear? They will define the cost centers, they will define all these things. You need not worry about all those. Now when you come into logistics general, you will define a plant and you need to ensure that the plant is assigned to a company code. So where you will define a plant, you have to define all the plant over here. Okay, and if you go to sales people will define the sales organization. So what is sales organization? That is where I told you create a procurement chart for so this is a procurement chart for SAP I told you guys to prepare a sales cycle for SAP SD and then organization flow chart for SAP SD. If you guys are able to get that, then you will be able to understand what is sales organization. And then here you will maintain the storage location, here you will maintain the purchasing organization. This comes under materials management, and you can explore more. You can explore logistics execution, what is coming here. Logistics execution deals with warehouse management activities, so EWM comes into play over here. When you come into plant maintenance, they have a different maintaining criteria over there, and this all section comes under definition. So definition is something that you are defining a particular area that comes under here. So once you have defined, it will come under assignment. So in the assignment, whatever company or company code you have defined, you will do the assigning over here. And similarly, you have defined a plant, you will assign the plant details to your company code. You will define a sales org, and that sales org needs to be assigned to a company code. You will define a distribution channel, and that distribution channel will be assigned to a sales organization. And similarly, when you come into materials management, you need to assign the purchasing organization to company code, purchasing organization to plant, and all these has to happen. So when you see over here, if you see, I have given the arrows whichever is linked. But when you talk about this purchasing organization, the purchasing organization can be assigned to a company code, and at the same time this purchasing organization can be assigned to a plant. So how this link happened, that does not, you guys need not worry about that, because we are going to more focus on SAP GTS only. Now coming to GTS side, here if you see client, company code, plant, storage location, purchase organization, all are set. All these are defined. And you guys have to understand one more concept here. There is a concept called master data, configuration data, transactional data. So configuration data will move from, I think you guys have to know about one more concept also here. There are three systems which will be available in any project you are going in. One will be development, and then quality, and then production. So what are these systems? Any changes you wanted to do, you will do it in these systems only. Clear? You will do the changes in development system only. So once you have done the development system relevant changes, what you need to do is you need to move these changes to quality. Once you have moved the changes to quality, then that quality data will move into production, wherein the live business scenarios will be executed. So how you will move the changes to development to quality to production? So let me come to the same place. Okay, let's assume I'm going to create something. Let me go into definition. I'll go into define valuation level. So valuation level is plant, and then define copy delete plant. So now I'm going to define a plant. Okay, let's go into new entries. Let me create a plant. I'll create a plant called 2025 and test 2025. Okay, and then there is a company code. I'll put the company code as India and the city code as, I don't know whether it is humanity free or not, but let me enter it. Does not exist. Oh, company code itself does not exist. Superb. US country also does not exist. So what does they maintain then? Okay, let's assume, is it seriously India and all those are not? India is there, but I don't know why it has not taken any entry. Let me take this. Oh, country code. Okay, but that does not coming in. I don't know why. Let me check this one. Okay, I don't know. Let me copy it. Okay, I'll do this. I'll go into here, copy. Okay, it says like this. I'll put A202. Why only 4 digits are coming? Because plant, company code and storage location will have these only. So I'll put it as test 2025 and all these are updated. Okay, no problem. Let me, okay, and then I'll click a tick on here. Number of entries copied 1. Now I need to save it. Let me save it. Once I save it, what it is asking? It is asking for a request. This is called as transport request. What does a transport request mean? Transport request will save all your changes in development system, and with the help of transport request you will be able to move the changes from development to quality to production. So this is how the changes will happen. Okay, so you guys need to understand that from development to quality and then quality to production. This is how the changes will happen in any ECC or GTS system when coming to configurational data. Then what is the data I told? The other concept which I told is, one data is configurational data. Configurational data moves from development system to quality system to production system via transport request, which in short term we will call it as TR. And then I was speaking about master data, and then I was speaking about transactional data. So what is a master data? So master data, see, configuration data is something that you do at the beginning of implementation, and that will stay fixed in your system in case of any business relevant changes are happening. Let's assume you have a plant in Chennai, and that plant you have multiple 5 or 6 locations, and you are opening a 7th location. At that time you will be adding that storage location details to your system, and then you will assign the storage location to your plant. So that is a new addition which is coming in. And at the same time, if you're closing one of the storage location, then you have to remove that entry from your system. So these are the changes which you will do, which is a major change which is coming in. But let's assume what is the master data. Master data is something like your employee details. You will have your employees, you will recruit your employees on a regular basis, and that employee details you will not change on a day-to-day basis until and unless the employee leaves the organizations or you kick the employee out of the organization. The employee data will remain in the system. Similarly, product details, when you are going to say, let's assume when you are into Tata Steel business, they are going to prepare a steel, so there will be steel plate or steel pipes or steel rods, and all those will be there. So you know what is the material or what is the product you are going to deal with, and that you will save it in your system. That is a master data. It is not going to change on everyday basis. The quantity might vary. You might order 1 ton to 2 tons, but the product details will not change. Similarly, your buyers, from where you are going to buy, the suppliers, from where you are going to buy, and your customers, to whom you are going to sell. You will have a customer, supplier on a regular basis, but the same customer or the same supplier you will not change on a regular basis. You will have a trust factor based on the source determination only. You will determine the vendor or the supplier, and from the supplier only you will be getting the products, and you will have a lot of customers, so the customer data also will be added to your system. So that is called as master data. And what is the transactional data? So master data, okay, let's complete the master data. So master data is something which you need to save in all the 3 systems, but those are not transportable. What do I mean by transportable is, when coming to the configurational data, you will do the changes in development, and that changes you can move it to quality to production via transport. But in the case of master data, you have to maintain it separately in development, separately in quality, and separately in production system. But on a standard practice, I see many of the companies do not maintain much in the development system, because that is a basic system which they don't want all the production live data to be maintained. And in quality, they also do not try to maintain. Only for testing purposes they will be maintaining some dummy data. And in production, as it is a live environment handling the live scenarios on a day-to-day basis, all the data will be added in production system. And also, as per standard practice, what happens is that every company will do a refresh. What does a refresh means? They copy the production data and paste it in the quality system. So the quality system will also have some latest data. They will not be having a live data. Maybe 3 to 6 months data they might be happening. So that is how the standard SAP practice happens, and that is how master data is also copied to quality system. So master data is not transportable. Whenever you wanted to save a master data, it is not going to request for any transport request. So now let me close this. I'm not going to save anything. Now let me go to MM01. What is MM01? I told you guys clearly, transactional code is something where you have to enter in this command area, and /n is something I wanted to remove the existing page because the previous page was in SPRO. I want to remove the existing page and replace with the new page, and that is going to have the material screen. When I go with /o, okay, when I'm entering /o, see over here, /n. When I enter /o, that means a new screen will be added. Now let me also show you /o xk01. Okay, if I can do a alt tab, I can see two screens. But if I go on /n01, then what happens is that the customer screen comes, the vendor screen is vanished. It will be erased. I can also click on /i. That will also remove the existing screen. So all these basic command prompts you need to understand. You can just type in, give me the shortcuts in SAP to be used, in SAP's GUI to be used. Google will display you and you can maintain it. Now let's assume I'm going to create a material. Okay, let me create a material, and we are in December. Okay, material can have any numbers, so December 2025, and I'm going to create a industry group. No matches found. Okay, I think I'll tell you why. Okay, and now let me choose an industry group. Let me choose any industry group. Electronics, material type as finished product. Enter, and it is asking for some data. I don't want this. Enter. Now it is asking this test material, and whenever there's an asterisk, that means you need to for sure fill it. Okay, let me choose bag. Okay, and then enter. Okay, and then I save it. It got saved. See, the material got saved. So material can be saved in any system, and it does not require a transport request. So that is the difference between configurational data and master data. Now coming into transaction data. Transaction data on a day-to-day basis varies. What is the transactional data? You have the configuration set in your system. You have the master data. Master data, you have vendor master data, you have supplier master data, supplier vendor master data, you have customer master data, you have product master data, you have all this master data. Now what is that you need? You know the customer. So to the customer you need to sell. So you will create a sales order. So sales order is nothing but the transactional data. And when you are purchasing, you will create a purchase order. So purchase order is nothing but the transactional data. So this transactional data can vary, can change on a day-to-day basis, because on the first day you might create a sales order for one customer, and on the same day you can create a sales order for second customer, and the quantities also will vary. Material also will vary. It is not that one particular customer will purchase the same items, right? Let's say an Apple store has been opened. You are going to purchase an Apple iPhone. You might buy 16 Pro, the other guy can buy 17 Pro, the other guy can buy Pro Plus, the other guy can buy iPad mini also. So anything is possible for a customer to buy, but they have to generate a sales order based on the customer, what he or she is buying. So transaction data will vary from system to system, and please note, all the live data will be there in production only. So whenever a transaction data is getting created, you will not see the transaction data in development. You will not see the transaction data in production. You will be able to see the transactional data you will not be able to see the transaction data in development. You will not be able to see the transaction data in quality system. You will be able to see the transactional data only in the production system. So production is something like live. What is happening at live environment? Quality is something like testing. Whatever you wanted to test, you can do the testing in quality. You cannot test it in production. If you are going to create a material in production, there will be lot of checks happening. As a standard process, if a support guy is working on a production system, he or she will not be given create or change material access. They will be given only display access. But when you come into development or quality system, you will be allowed to do anything, because if you want to test it, you can test it with the material whatever you wanted to create. But you cannot expect the same production system replicated in the quality system. So don't do any testing in production. Do all your testing in sandbox system or development system or quality system. Now the question will be, what is a sandbox system? Whatever system which I'm right now using, that is a sandbox system or a demo system. Some project or some client, they do have sandbox system, but again, you will not have much of data. I would recommend whenever you are into a project, you wanted to explore more, go into quality system, do whatever you like, you will be able to understand what is happening. Create. And then transactional data, whatever you create in production, similar thing you can create in quality, but that will not be on a real-time basis. Now how you will create a transactional data? /n I'm giving because I don't want this material screen. I want to go into some other screen. So how to create a purchase order? Google it. How to create a purchase order in SAP or SAP MM. It will give you what is the T code. T code is nothing but the transaction code. When you type in ME21N, that takes you to create purchase order screen. So in create purchase order screen, what is it asking? You have to give a vendor. So vendor name or the supplier name you have to give. You need to choose from whom you are going to buy. And then coming into header, you have to give the organization details. Who is the purchasing team, purchasing org, purchasing group, for which company you are going to buy. You need to give all these details over here. And then coming into item overview, you need to give the material which you are going to purchase, the quantity you wanted to purchase, and the delivery date you wanted to get the goods, and also the price. All these has to be entered. Once entering all these entries, and then once you are saving it, the purchase order will be saved. Purchase order will be saved only in production system because it is a live data. I do not mean it will not be saved in quality. The purchase order can be saved similar to master data in each and every system. It is not a transport request needed system. It can be saved in any system. Clear? So this is how our data looks like. Why do I come into this particular data structure? I was teaching about organization structure. I told this organization structure comes under organization's data. But when coming into organization structure in GTS system, only client is an organization data, and that you are not going to define it. That will be defined once the system is defined. Okay, so you don't worry about that. But coming to FTO and legal unit, what is FTO? Foreign Trade Organization, which is similar to company code in ECC system. Legal unit, LU, which is similar to plant in ECC system. These two, FTO and legal unit, are called as master data in GTS system. They are not ECC configurational data as in ECC system. They are master data in GTS system. So how you will define FTO and legal unit? Same way in GTS system, you go into SPRO, SAP reference IMG, open global trade services, open general settings, come down, organization structure, open it. Here define foreign trade organization. Okay, here also you can click and open, or you go to /OBP. Why am I going to /O? Because I want the screen to be open. I want a fresh screen to be open, and that is why I give /OBP. When I click on /OBP, what does it say? Maintain business partner. When I click on this define foreign trade organization, when I click on this execute button, that also opens maintain business partner. Okay, you guys are able to see, right? Here also maintain business partner, here also maintain business partner. I can close one of the screen. That's not at all an issue. So FTO and legal unit, if you are defining in GTS system, that comes under master data. Both are called as business partner. Now there will be a question. If both are business partner, you guys should ask a question. Okay, if both are business partner, how you will differentiate? This is FTO, this is legal unit. How you will be able to differentiate? This question you should ask. Okay, you should think in that perspective. If everything I'm going to define in business partner, even see when I go into /SPRO, global trade services, general settings, organization structure, I went to define foreign trade. Now if you come down, I could see define legal units. If I click on this, it also opens maintain business partner. If that is the case, then how you will be able to differentiate? This question, it should come in your mind. So for this answer, I will tell in the next session, but try to Google it and see and understand what is the difference between a company code, sorry, a FTO and a legal unit in terms of business partner maintenance. Clear? So that's it for today. I think I've taken a long session. Listen it slowly. If there are any mistakes which I've told, highlight it. Do your homework. Please do your homework. Share your homework details in Telegram. Thank you.